it's me, Allison. I know I've been absent for a while, but I'm back, and today I am sharing 2 cards that I made using an emboss resist technique, actually 2 different techniques. And here are the 2 cards that I made. Now I used the same background stamp to make both of these cards, and this stamp was from the recent release from Simon Says Stamp, the Cheering for You release. And here is the stamp. This is the old letter clear stamp, and I'm going to pause it right here. Now, this stamp is also available in a cling rubber stamp. I believe that Simon said that they're going to be re-releasing some of their rubber stamps as clear stamps. So this is one of them. And I guess, some people prefer clear stamps over rubber. I don't know. Are you one of those? Leave me a comment. But obviously we're using this clear stamp today. Now, usually when I use rubber stamps to make a bunch of backgrounds, I just lay it flat on my desktop. So today I am leaving this clear stamp on the piece of acetate and putting it down on my waffle flower grip mat, which is going to hold it in place. Now I have a piece of white glossy paper. And this has been in my stash forever. I don't even think Ranger makes this paper anymore, but I'll link to an alternative below in the supply list below. And you'll see that I am inking up the stamp with Versamark ink. And I'm just going to carefully press this paper down, and then I'm going to hold it in place and use the flat of my hand to press it down into the ink. And you saw me before use an anti-static powder tool because I don't want any of my embossing powder sticking where I don't want it. So here we go, adding clear embossing powder. And again, usually I'll make a bunch of backgrounds at once when I pull out my rubber stamps because I love doing emboss resist techniques. And I could have used the Misty for this clear stamp or even rubber stamps, but I just find it easier to just lay it flat on my desktop and just do a bunch of, backgrounds. Now, speaking of which, in a second, you'll see me switch to a different panel that I had embossed off screen, or that I had stamped and embossed off screen. And here's the paper. And this is just plain watercolor paper. And I embossed it with white embossing powder this time. So I'm just heating both of these with my heating tool, and we're ready to go with the first technique. Now this is Lindy's Magicals powders, and I have my clear little container out to contain the mess. And we're going to start with this first color. And I'll list the colors at the top of the screen. And this is how I like to work with shimmer powders, whether they're Magicals or they're my Tonic Nouveau shimmer powders. I just sprinkle them on a dry piece of paper, and then I will take my spray bottle and just spray it. And look at all of the colors that are just in that one bottle. It's so amazing. So you're going to see me come in with a towel and you're going to be like, why is she wiping this all away? I don't know. Sometimes if I am working with really fine detail on my background stamp, I don't like when it clumps into certain areas. But also, I've been playing with Magicals and shimmer powders for, well, not Magicals themselves, but I've been playing with shimmer powders for a long time. And I kind of have my thing down where sometimes I'll spray a background and I'll love what I see and I'll just put it aside and let it dry. But sometimes, and in this case, I actually had an idea in mind of what I wanted. And for this particular panel, I was going for kind of an ombre look. So here I'm bringing in the darkest color. And so you saw I went from like a lighter color to a slightly darker color and now the darkest color. And I'm putting that darkest color just in the bottom corner. So a lot of times with these shimmer powders, you kind of just get what you get, and that's what you get, and deal with it. But over time, I've learned that you can have a little bit of control over it. You can put the powders where you want. You can spray the water in a particular direction to keep those colors where you want. And, you know, there is no wrong way to play with shimmer powders. So, yes, you can just spritz it on your paper, spray the water, and be done. And it does magical things for sure. But if you want to keep working a panel to death like I do, you know, do what you want. I just love playing. So that's what I was doing. And I really love what I ended up with. So there we go. That's the finished panel. And here's the finished card. Now for my cards today, I don't have footage of the actual construction of the cards, but you'll see that I use my decal trimmer to trim this panel. I always forget that I have that decal trimmer. And the thanks is the Fancy Thanks from Simon. This is all Simon Says Stamp products. The dragonfly is called the Whirl Dragonfly. The flowers are the Whirl Blossoms. And then those little leaves are the Eucalyptus Leaves. And I'll have all these supplies listed below. All right, on to the next technique. These are distress crayons, and this is the second time that I've used distress crayons. So this is the white glossy paper, and I should have mentioned that before. I use the watercolor paper for the shimmer powders. This is the glossy paper, and I use glossy paper because, and you can use distress crayons on dry paper, but when you use it on a glossy surface or a treated surface, you get a longer smudge time. You can play with your crayons for a longer time before they dry. So you'll see that I'm just using my fingers and I'm smudging these colors. And every so often you'll see me wipe my finger onto a slightly damp paper towel just because I don't want to mix these colors. And here we go. Here's Allison almost completely wiping this panel off. I think I wasn't really happy with that orange color. So because it's a gloss paper, it was really easy to just wipe most of this crayon off. But you'll see some of the color is still there. So I'm coming back in. I'm leaving that orange color out. And again, second time playing with these, and I'm just playing. Now, I'm going to try to do something different in this video. Instead of cutting part of this footage out, I'm going to leave the footage in and I'm going to play some music. I've never done that before, but I don't think you want to listen to me blabber on for several minutes. So if you want to just fast forward to the finished card, feel free. But the music is going to start right around the time that I introduce some brown colors. And that's really going to start changing the look of things. So here we go. to have to let me know in the comments below how you feel about music. I couldn't play 80s music for you, which I would have done, but here we go. Here's the finished panel, and here is the finished card. And really, for both of these cards, I didn't have to do much after I did these backgrounds. I just die cut some elements and put them on the card. But this uses my favorite bird, the layered warbler, which I colored with distress inks. And then the leaves are from the Grand Corner Leaves. Again, these are all from Simon Says Stamp. I colored the leaves with distress inks as well. Just, some simple ink blending. And the sentiment, just a really easy stamped sentiment from the Cozy Autumn Hugs set. Now, I wanted to show you my very first card that I made with distress crayons. I shared this on Instagram, I don't know, a few weeks ago, last month. And this is the Zippy Zinnias embossing folder from Simon Says Stamp. And again, you'll see I use my decal trimmer for this card. This one I used mixed media heavy stock, and that's paper from Ranger. And I used distress collage medium, which also gave that paper kind of a non-porous surface, which again allows the crayons, it gives the crayons a longer play time. So that was my first card, and I'm just going to say wow to myself because it was so fun. And well, really using distress crayons on embossing folders is kind of a no-brainer, especially with an embossing folder with this kind of detail on the flowers. It was so easy and fun, so I really encourage you to just try. And really just play. That's what I did today. Just play. Have fun. I really appreciate you being here with me today. I'm sorry I've been absent, but I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.